This is WTOP TV Channel 9, Washington, D.C. at Broadcast House. It's 11 o'clock.
Here are headlines of the world. Here's the 11 p.m. report. The latest report of the day's news, weather, and sports with Don Richards, John Douglas, and Dan Brent.
Hello, I'm Don Richards, and here's what's happened on this Monday night, September 30th, 1957. In a desperate last-minute effort, 13 rank-and-file Teamsters asked the Supreme Court yesterday to stop the Teamsters Union today, allegedly rigged the elections and set for later this week. The appeal will be decided by Chief Justice Earl Warren probably today. The petition claims, among other possible damage, that the election of the Teamsters Vice President James R. Hoffa to the presidency of the Union will lead to expulsion of the Teamsters from the AFL-CIO, and the result of this will be measured by the likely disorder, violence, and bloodletting which will ensue when the AFL-CIO establishes a rival organization to work against the corrupt defendants. In Jacksonville, Florida, Mayor Hayden Burns will be asked people to pray at 2:30 p.m. Tuesday when a committee of sovereign governors meets with President Eisenhower to discuss integration. Burns said the prayer will be a truly American and godlike solution to the problem. Members of a special meditation committee of sovereign governors last night determined to go right ahead with today's scheduled conference tomorrow with President Eisenhower despite last-minute withdrawals of a Deep South member of the group. Governor Marvin Griffin of Georgia, lone extreme segregationist on the 5-member negotiations group. Governor Leroy Collins of Florida, newly elected chairman of the Conference of the Southern Governors, and he won't be here for the meeting. Griffin based his withdrawal on the President's move to broaden today's discussion tomorrow beyond the main question that the Dixie governors are interested in getting federal troops out of Little Rock. Miami Beach, Florida. The scandal-tinged Teamsters Union opened its fateful convention today with a band playing When the Saints Go Marching In, and James R. Hoffa and apparent command of delegates. A discordant note quickly appeared in the proceedings as John F. English, Teamsters Union Secretary-Treasurer, sharply criticized fellow union officers, saying there was discouraging to try to save the union money only to see someone else roll $1 million down to the gutter. English names, but he said he had to hire a lawyer because of the situation within the Teamsters and gotten an own cooperation from other union officials. Without indicating whom he favors for the Teamsters presidency, English said he had hoped that it would be re-elected other officials would be the kind he could get along with. The 68-year-old English, also an AFL-CIO vice president, said the Teamsters will never withdraw from the AFL-CIO, but that they kick us out, we will not be in a hurry. I'm going back. We have many friends in the AFL-CIO, and they will be all knowing that we will take care of them, and if they don't, they go straight to hell. English said there have been reports that he had been a stool pigeon for the Senate Committee on Labor Management Misdeeds, but he said that in a 46-year union career that he had never done that. Hoffa, 44-year-old Midwestern Teamsters boss, predicted his ceiling. In Moscow, Mr. and Mrs. Alfred K. Stern, a millionaire couple accused by the American authorities of spying for Russia and now in the Soviet Union. Recent visitors in the home of Tolstoy, the Russian novelist, which is near Moscow and now in a museum, noticed that it's Stern's name in the visitor's book. They left their home in Mexico City in July and were reported to have gone to Prague, Czechoslovakia, having renounced their American citizenship. Mrs. Stern is the daughter of the former American ambassador to Germany. In Havana, unconfirmed reports from Manzanillo tonight, and Cuban revolutionaries have made a fresh landing near the spot where rebel leader Fidel Castro came ashore with 82 men last December 2nd. Manzanillo is the 7th eastern province of Oriente, where the Castro enjoys wide sympathy of his guerrilla campaign. Cuban military planes were reported very active in the area during the day. The first dollar bill of new design in 27 years goes into distribution today. 25 million bills will have been printed for distribution for tomorrow. And an inscription, "In God We Trust," has been added on the back of the bill, which also is designated as Series 1957A. It'll be the first bill to carry the signature of the new Secretary of the Treasury, Robert B. Anderson. In Rome, fishermen more interested in tourist cash than archaeological treasure today threatened to destroy the newly discovered fragments of a statue that may be one of the most celebrated in the world as archaeologists try to move it to Rome. Authorities believe that the 400 finely chiseled marble fragments belong to the lost or original of the statue of the Laocoon, a mythical Trojan priest. The fragments were found at the village of Sperlonga in a cave that formed part of the villa of the ancient Roman Emperor Tiberius. A copy of the statue depicting Laocoon and the sons being crushed by snakes is one of that. In Little Rock, Arkansas, Governor Orville Faubus blew hot and cold today on calling the Arkansas legislature into special session to consider closing an integrated central high school. He first said that it was very likely that there would be a special session, then he said there would have been no decision yet, and it's very well will be no special session. Evidence that Little Rock, long silent and civic and business vendors and lenders were preparing to take an active part in seeking a solution to their city's troubles came today. Representative Brooks says Democrats of Arkansas arranged a historic but fruitless meeting between Faubus and President Azar on September 14th in Newport, Rhode Island, and met with 20 business and civic leaders. Joshua K. Shepard, head of the Arkansas Scottish Rite Masons and former president of the Little Rock Chamber of Commerce, emerged as spokesman for the group. Shepard told newsmen that he had seen the Faubus during the day and told them that the group felt it would be very unwise to call it a special session of legislature at this time. Shepard said that it had told the governor that the Faubus had asked for the time of the integration dispute now, that the city of Little Rock now is asking for him to let the situation cool down. Shepard said that because the situation is tense now, his group did not think of a special session of the legislature would be conducted with a calm judgment. A poll of 43 legislatures showed majority settlement against a special session. 17 opposed it, 2 were in favor, while 16 even were not comment if they were non-committal. While Faubus sounded out sentiment among legislatures on whether to call a special session, the 101st Airborne Division sharply reduced to its guard about Central High School. Fewer than 100 troops guarded Central today, and they left the bayonets off their rifles and carried them with scabbards at their sides. In New York, highwaymen made off with a $7,840 gold shipment today in the 1957 Queens County version of the Great Stage Robbery. Horsepower horses were involved in the daylight stick-up of Pascual Bosco 30 as he sped along the Long Island Expressway toward the Queens Midtown Tunnel with a 24-ounce bar of gold in his body of his panel truck. The villain showed up in a black sedan which pulled alongside Bosco's panel truck. Disclosure to occupants, one brandishing a gun. If you value your life, get off the expressway in the next exit. Warn the gunman. Bosco, with a second chance of a glance at the gun in the other car, decided to take the turn as ordered. Shepherded by a sedan, he drove a few more blocks, then stopped on orders. Then gunman jumped out, seized the small crate containing the gold in the body of the truck, and then drew the set of handcuffs from the pocket. A quick snap let Bosco pinion to his steering wheel of his vehicle. He saw the robbers drive off in the sedan. 10 minutes later, a passerby heard the truck driver shout and called police. Bosco was employed by the SJY Air Freight Company with offices at New York International Airport. The driver picked up the gold of the freight office at the Pan American World Airways at the airport. It was taken into the USSA office in Manhattan where the consignee, the Royal Canadian Bank, was to pick it up later. Baltimore, a gas-fed flame flat as a pancake that burns in midair has been developed by Johns Hopkins University scientists. University said that it never been before has been a flame been made to burn free from contact with an outside surface. How we did it, why it works, and it's still mysteries to us. One scientist said, but we do know that the simple flame will be of a great help in studying the process of controlled combustion. The flat circular flame will be developed to help study fire in connection with a research in high temperature jet aircraft engines. The study is being made in connection with the Air Force. The apparatus is simple. Gas comes out of the vertical burner tube over which is suspended a circular copper plate. When the gas is ignited, a stable thin flat circular flame hovers around about halfway between the burner tube and the copper plate. Project director is Dr. Hurley Hushlet, 35, a professor of the chemical engineering. He developed the flat flame to permit a more detailed study of the fire than is possible with a normal slated-shaped flame. It's a near perfect flame, and that combustion shows complete no unburned gas that can detect it, and no carbon monoxide is given off. In Paris, the 3-month-old government of Maurice Borges Minority, France's 23rd government since the war, went down to defeat tonight in a confidence vote on its Algerian reform bill. The hotly disputed bill was rejected by 279 votes to 253. Borges Minority is France's youngest premier since the war at the age of 42, and other ministers met immediately after the vote to draw up the governance letter of resignation to President René Coté. The cabinet agreed on its resignation, and the decision was telephoned to the president by the premier. In accordance with the past practice, Coté formally refused to accept the resignation immediately in order to keep the government in office with full powers until his successor is ready to present himself to Parliament. United Nations, New York, United States Ambassador Henry Cavalage said today that he would support a Russian proposal for General Assembly discussion of peaceful coexistence in a hope that the debate will bring the Soviet Union to a realization of what those words can really mean. The item was accepted by a vote of 11-1 with 3 abstentions. In other action, the United States challenged the Soviet Union to make its concessions so that suspension of nuclear tests will be the first thing to happen on the world to world disarmament. But Russia, in exchange at a meeting of the UN Disarmament Commission, remain adamant on an unconditional suspension of tests as well as other Soviet proposals. At a meeting of the General Committee, Log said the Russian agenda from on-code existed seemed but a repetition of the same old attack on the United States and its allies that he heard practically every year. The Russian memorandum had charged that the Western policy and negotiation from strength was responsible for burdensome military budgets and dollars that military blocs set for the New World War. Large question in the preparedness of this proposal being introduced by the country, which seems to do us the least about carrying out such principles that never pointed out that living in peace with your neighbors means that you are not gobbling them up, as was done in the case of Hungary. Vasily V. Kuznetsov, vice chairman of the Soviet delegation, countered that peaceful coexistence was not to be lacking of the United States because of its policy in the Middle East. The same was true, he said, that the British policy in Egypt, Yemen, and French policy in Algeria. President Azari today has praised the accuracy, speed, and courage of the American free press. In a message to the nation's newspapers on the opening of National Newspaper Week, the president said his occasion is set aside to honor our journalists who are land of daily supply us with many of the facts and opinions which form the basis of our decisions. A New York, a new set of telephone cable link in North America with Europe will be laid in 1959. The American Telephone and Telegraph Company announced today. AT&T started to sign contracts with.
This happened yet, then? I mean, it sounds like if you're willing to talk about why hasn't it happened. I mean, it seems like they're put in a position where they have to do these stupid things, seizing these moments, because
carrying conversations east and over west will be put on between Clarnville, Newfoundland, and the Brittany Peninsula of France. Alright, here now the weather, John Douglas. Thank you, Don. Right now, current conditions at 11 p.m. Reports on this Monday night, September 30th, 1957 at 11 o'clock. We got a temperature of 61 degrees in National Airport, 61 in Dallas, 55 in Andrews, 57 in Annapolis, and 57 in Baltimore.
Live on the New Hampshire state line, Sean Kelly, WC.
Okay, let us take a look at our weather forecast around the nation for tomorrow. A trail of low pressure for tomorrow morning will extend from the upper lake
The reasons why.
region
When near record warm.
southeastward through northern New York
The dangerous move
and Maine.
making at bed.
A second trail off the New England coast will run southwestward toward Florida. And there's a low pressure to be located in the southwest,
Hard-earned cash and how you
Idaho,
and a big warm up on the
the
way.
Gulf of Mexico,
Record high temperatures.
and off the New England coastline here. High pressure with centers in British Columbia,
In 4 years. I said we did all right. Don't risk this point.
Colorado,
To the very end. Marvels, agents of
upper Mississippi Valley, and to dominate the plain states in the Mississippi Valley. Rain and drizzle will be forecast
public workers are hit.
for the southeast
You're footing the bill.
for tomorrow, as scattered showers of sunshine are expected in the upper Plateau region and southern Florida. Increased conditions will be noted in the Gulf states, and clear to partly skies will prevail over the rest of the nation. So our forecast for Washington and vicinity will go like this. For tomorrow, partly warmer, high 70 degrees. For tomorrow night, low 53 degrees. Wednesday, partly high about 75 degrees.
everything.
For Maryland tomorrow, partly a bit warmer. Wednesday, partly a mild. Some rain likely on the coast. And for Virginia tomorrow, partly a bit warmer. Wednesday, partly and mild. Some rain likely east and south portions. For Pollen Count, DC Medical Society Bradley Pollen Count for the 24 hours in about 9 a.m.
Savings on great.
Today, less than 1 grain per cubic yard of air. For Lower Potomac and Chesapeake Bay tomorrow, variable winds, weather cloudy with good visibility. Small craft warnings have been lowered. Temperature 1 year ago today, 69 high, low 52 degrees. Sun's gonna be rise about 7:04 a.m. tomorrow morning. Sunset tomorrow about 6:01 p.m. and moon rise about 2:49 p.m. and set about 12:19 a.m.
Rewards.
High tide 2:33 a.m. and 3:07 p.m. and low tide 9:37 a.m. and 9:55 p.m. tomorrow. The Potomac River at the Great Falls is clear. And that's gonna be it for the weather. I'm John Douglas, and in a few minutes, Dan Douglas, Dan Daniels will have the sports in a few seconds here on the 11 p.m. report.
You're watching News Center 5 at 11. That is the start of a terrifying ride for the driver of the SUV. You see in that video, his wife and his little baby girl are in the car. They're chased through Manhattan by an angry gang of bikers. Let's go back to the beginning and set it up for you. Keep your eye as we show you the tape. Keep your eye.
Enjoy the greater advantage of this new oil heat comfort plan.
black vest.
Says Dino the Sinclair Dinosaur, economical Sinclair, heating and oil, low cost, complete burner, service contract, and most convenient budget plan. Get the best. Get Sinclair. It costs no more. Call Taylor at 98500 at the Sinclair Refining Company. Fuel oil, burner, and sales and services.
Hudson Parkway in New York. Traffic stop.
In here now. Now, sports with Dan Daniels, and it is brought to you by the Sinclair Refining Company. Here now, Dan Daniels. Good afternoon, everybody, and good evening, everybody, on this Monday night, September 3rd, 1957. There's what's happening in the world of sports. In New York, Whitey Ford will face the veteran and Warren Spahn in a battle of left-handed pitchers when the World Series opens Wednesday at Yankee Stadium, where the New York Yankees will be favored over the Milwaukee Braves. The series will be seen on television on WRC TV Channel 4 in Washington at 1 p.m. tomorrow. The status of both Mickey Mantle and Bill Squirrel and the Yanks remain doubtful after morning workout at the stadium. The best guess is that both will start against Spahn. Mantle said his left leg still bothering him, especially when he had to throw in his full weight on it. Batting right-handed, he is wounded against Spahn. The switcher we expect to know serious difficulty. He may be a handicapped in the outfield, where he needs all his speed in the stadium's spacious center field.
To get some answers.
Meanwhile, in Yankees border out in Milwaukee, the Braves got a rousing send-off by the thousands of their hometown fans and folks, and playing today for New York, where they're going to battle out with the New York Yankees in Wednesday's opening game of the World Series. Part of the departure, their manager Fred Henney and his National League Championship rode down the upward cars in a huge parade along flat Big Deck, Wisconsin Avenue. Police estimated that 200,000 persons lined both sides of Milwaukee's main thoroughfare to encourage their favorites with shots of "Good yeah, good luck, got the Yanks." At the end of the parade, Haney mounted a speaker's platform of the Wisconsin War Memorial and recalled that it was just a year ago when the team returned from St. Louis and series that cost the Independent by a single game. That was a sad day. He commented, but now it's a happy one. We're off to the World Series!
One of the main reasons for the backups.
Out in Los Angeles, the Los Angeles City Council is battling over a contract which would bring the Brooklyn Dodgers here. Today would voted and down an amendment in which backers said would schedule their plan. The amendment would be required the Dodgers to stay in Los Angeles for 20 years, was rejected 11-3. It would not only be futile, said Harold C. McClellan, the city's negotiator with Dodger President Walter O'Malley. It will be fatal. McClellan, who worked out this contract between the cities and O'Malley, said that O'Malley would be not agreed to the changes. It took 3 days to work out the last minor changes, he said. 4 amendments to the contract proposal, which is being considered by the council as an ordinance, were offered for action by Councilman Patrick McGee. A second amendment was defeated 8-6. Later in the session, it was said that the city would be deeded by the Dodgers and Chavez Ravine near downtown Los Angeles would be reverted to the city if used by O'Malley for any purpose other than baseball. But the vote raised another question. Would the council split the same way when voting? In New York, Bob Shefflin today signed a 1-year contract to manage the Chicago Cubs Vice President John Holland announced. Sale was not disclosed. Shefflin replaced Stan Hack after the 56th season guided the Cubs to a 7th-place tie with Pittsburgh this year. Shefflin did an outstanding job as manager.
Linked to sudden infant death syndrome.
In his first season as Major League Manager, he said Holland he had a lot of problems and he met them squarely. He brought along several young players, notably pitchers like Mo Drabowski, Dick Trott, and Don Elston. In Oklahoma City, can food do to Oklahoma what 41 football teams could not do? Defeat the Sooners. Ken Wallinson, Oklahoma's veteran trainer, said today 13 of the Sooners' better players are recovering from the illness, but I'm not sure that their legs will stand up, and that's the most important thing. Oklahoma looking for their 42nd straight victory in a row meets up. Rebuilt our team Saturday at Norman. Coach Bud Wilkinson even caught the flu and still is recovering. Wallinson told the Monday Quarterback Club today. Wilkinson mixed the meeting.
We've had a long dry spell in the latter part of the month in most areas. All right, we start October
in New York. Gashed and bleeding, Jimmy Archer, New York Storm from beyond tonight to slug out a split decision over rangy Tony DeCola of Brooklyn in a telecast 10-rounder at St. Nicholas Arena. Archer weighed 145.5 and DeCola 147. Cut over under the right eye and early in a lively scrap and nicked over the left eye in the 8th. Archer swept the last 4 rounds to win the majority vote from the 2 officials. Referee Joe Luxcalza and Judge Mike Davidovich each had Archer hand 6-4. Judge Leo Birnbaum cast his vote for DeCola 6-4. The AP card and then even 5 rounds for each. The 22-year-old Archer's gallant rallies enabled him to stretch his winning streak to 11 and an 8-5 favorite. Archer has a 14-1 record, and DeCola will be 21 on Thursday as a 6-5 win snap His record is 24-8-1. A tall, fast-punching corner decoy used to find left jab to hook to sweep the third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth rounds. That put him in the front of all scoreboards. But in the seventh, Archer spurred on the cheers by "Let's go, Jimmy!" followed by a large eye. Vocal followers took the play from the boxers and the two-fisted barge to the body head. That's sports.
We're going to see that cloud area start to move east.
And that's going to be it for the 11 p.m. report on this.
And really develop into
Monday night, September 3rd, 1957. I'm Don Rich alongside John Douglas and Dan Dale today. I give a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night. And coming next will be The Late Show, and it's Escape on WTOP TV Channel 9, Washington. Good night. See you tomorrow.
now across the plains.